as Ministry of Interior, be working with NIMC. We'll be coming up with what we call the CEDAS. I've spoken with Bisoye about it, which is the centralized citizens integrity and document authentication system. We want to be sure, wherever you are, if you know you have something fishy about you, please do not carry the identity of a Nigerian. We will get you. Thank you. Please, let's have a seat, please. Let me start by apologizing for keeping you waiting. This is one of the events in the calendar that I can't afford to miss. You know, I called Bisoye, we spoke yesterday, because identity is who we are, is what we are, is what we live for. And I said it on Thursday when I was invited, Resource Center. And I said, listen, you cannot find solution to national security, to insecurity, without the issue of identity management. The foundation of economic emancipation, the foundation of even industrialization, the foundation of even the principle of capitalism, may even be socialism, has to be based on the premise of identity management. If you do not get the identity of the people right, you can't protect who you don't know. That is the truth. You can't provide for who you don't know. And for you to get your identity right, the principle of the EOI must play a prominent role. What is the EOI? That's the evidence of identity. Because identity is the foundation. Identity is the cradle, is the genesis, is the beginning upon which development will be built. If we do not pay the necessary attention to identity management, one, what are the problems we're going to be getting? Number one, we will have the issue of reputational damage, which is what we get. I tell you this, of every 10 Nigerians that are termed criminals, there are 100 million fantastic Nigerians. That is the truth. But if we are unable to manage the identity, you will find it difficult for you to be able to segregate the good from the bad. You'll find it difficult for you to be able to provide basic policing, basic amenities of life for people. If you know the identity of people, the next level will be to know the needs of the people, to know the wants of the people, for you to be able to meet up with the aspiration and perspiration of the people. If you're unable to do that, then what do you get? You get a country that will forever be a country of potentials without attaining potential. That is one problem we've had over the years. And President Bola Ahmed Tinubu came on board just last year. He made a determination, he made a decision. And one of the best decisions, I've said it privately and I'm saying it here. As Minister of Interior, I will tell you as a member of the cabinet, is the caliber of people today that manages our identity. Bisoye, you are wonderful. And of course, when you manage identity, you must also talk about data protection. And that is why I'm so happy that my Egbon is here. Because you cannot manage an identity when you can't protect the data. Data Protection Act is fundamental in any democracy in the world. It is the right of the people, it is right of government to have the identity of people, to harness the identity of people, to build the identity of people, to have the ability to identify people, but it is the right of people for their identity to be protected. So in this, it brings you to a situation where you have to strike a balance between security and identity management. So seeing the two of you here today makes me happy. It means that you are working together because that is the way it should be. And I will tell you, as a matter of fact, about last week, I was in ICAO, that's in Montreal, and we had the first import ceremony of Nigeria into the ICAO, PKI, and the PKD. So now, in terms of our passport, so what that means basically, because that's the major problem we used to have before now. When a Nigerian carries a passport, there is no instant real-time means of verifying the authenticity and genuinity of the passport and the holder. But today, when we came on board, one of the first things we did was to say, look, a situation where a Nigerian, a hard-working Nigerian, goes to Heathrow and is treated as a suspect. You go to JFK, you're treated as a suspect. You go to even Johannesburg, Joburg, you're treated as a suspect. It's not acceptable for the biggest black nation on earth. Let's give ourselves some credit. We are the biggest black nation on earth. It's something to be proud of. And we swung into action. And the first thing we did was to say, hey, NIMSI and NIS, you have to work together. I called the meeting of Bisoye Koka and the then Comptroller General of Nigeria Immigration. So we came together and we said, a scenario where somebody is Taye Ajayi in NIS by virtue of the passport, and is John Kayode in NIMSI, and that era must end. Because if you do not curb the problem of proliferation of identity, you will continue to be at the mercy of enemies of the state. And like play, we started. And today, we know we pull our data from you. That's the truth. Once you put your NIN number, whatever, you pull your data. If your data, because by law, NIMSI is the custodian of identity. And not until we extend this to tax, driver's license, bank, even telcos, and everybody. And NIMSI becomes that sole repository of data, we will just be moving around in vicious circle. We've been able to do that to harmonize our data. And today, I tell you, you will never come to me for a change of name if NIMSI does not change your name. That's the truth. Because identity fraud is the biggest fraud in the world. It's not just Nigeria. People want to commit crime and change identity. But when there is no get out of jail card, you'll be forced to behave yourself. We've been able to do that. And immediately we did that. We built the public key infrastructure. We have uploaded now into the public key directory globally in ICAO. And Nigerian passport has the same verification mechanism as any passport, maybe America, UK, Canada, anyone in the world today, certified by ICAO. That is done. And I tell you what, we're going to work with NIMSI. The next thing we're thinking of in Nigeria Immigration Service now is our digital travel certificate, the DTC. It's a technology that ICAO has just started, and we said this, Nigeria will never run after technology. Technology will run after Nigeria. Because we must be ahead of technology. That's who we are. For crying out loud, we have the population, we have the market, we have the brains, we have the intellectuals, and above all, we have the will of Mr. President to make a change. And that change we will make. Having spoken about this, very soon we will, as Ministry of Interior, be working with NIMSI. We'll be coming up with what we call the CEDAS. I have spoken with Bisoye about it, which is the centralized citizens integrity and document authentication system. We want to be sure, wherever you are, if you know you have something fishy about you, please do not carry the identity of a Nigerian. We will get you. And that is the truth. We must leverage on technology to make sure that we streamline government processes. Government processes should be able to work together on the basis of authentication, verification of data. I want to assure you, this is not going to be business as usual. As I always say, it's going to be this is an era of business unusual. And let me make this pledge here, because I saw the letter from Data Protection Commission. We will work with you, sir. And that is a pledge, because, as I said, as much as we must protect the interest of government, which has to do with the harmonization of identity under NIMSI, we must also protect the interest of Nigerians, which has to do with the security of their own data. That brings the two of you together as twins. And what God has joined together in two of you, not me, will bring asunder. So I want to assure you, we are on the right path. I want to assure you, once we clear the whole identity issues, business, consumer credit, so many other things will work. Once we do that, the era when somebody is being misplaced for another person and spending years in jail will no longer be there. Identity problems will be solved once and for all. At this juncture, not to bore you because I know the keynote speaker will still speak, let me use this privilege and opportunity to welcome you to the era of business unusual. The tomorrow that we spoke about yesterday is today. So when I say we look forward to tomorrow, I mean we look forward to today. Because the future is not tomorrow. The future is now. NIMSI has come to stay, not for Nigeria. NIMSI has come to stay as the biggest data base for Africa. That is the truth. We are Nigeria, the biggest black nation on earth. We are, this is Nigeria, the center of black and African emancipation. We are Nigeria, the torchbearer. We will lead, we will show the world that the sleeping giant of Africa is awake and is back to take its place. God bless Nigeria and welcome to the future. The future is now. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, let's put our hands together for the Honorable Minister of Interior one more time. I appreciate you. That was